theme song and everything.
Yeah,
Welcome
theme song
in.
and everything. We back here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Carolina Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, that guy, Trey Morgan.
I'm Chance Jenkins. Welcome in. Excited for another episode. We got a stacked event for you today, but also just quick little shout out. We got Next Level show coming up.
Yeah.
That's February 22nd, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
February 22nd in Dunn, North Carolina.
Next Level Pro Wrestling, whatever it takes.
Yes, at the Dunn Powell Fitness Center. It's going to be a huge show.
Yeah, my neck of the woods, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and we do know, I will go and already say, the main event for that show, it's already been put out there, for the Next Level Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship is going to be WWE ID star the Carolina Reaper Jackson Drake versus Jack the Ripper Tatum. That's going to be a huge match.
Yeah, everyone's talking about Jackson Drake right now. He had the big appearance on NXT. Everyone's all talking about it.
Yeah, front row and center, baby.
Yeah, and so we're going to come in, bring him in, see what he can do against our champion. Exciting times.
Yeah, so what would it be like if he come in knowing that he's being looked at by WWE and he comes and possibly takes that championship from Jack?
You don't know, man. There's no telling. It's heavy implications there. Yeah. But we got someone in studio today.
Yeah, one of my favorite people, one of my best friends. He probably hate for me to say that outside of the wrestling business, but he is one of my best friends here. And ladies and gentlemen, this week we have the Indy icon Trey G is here in the studio with us. Trey, thank you for being here, buddy.
Oh man, my pleasure. My pleasure. That sounds like a great main event.
Yeah.
My money's on Tatum.
Yeah, I'd probably have to say the same thing, but it's definitely going to be a fight.
Only because he'll cheat like me and Baron do on me. That's the main reason I'm going to take Jack.
Oh, well, yeah, good.
Yeah, I mean, he's always got the backup, so that helps. With insurance
No,
policy.
No, it's insurance policy.
Yeah.
Insurance policy. Not a back. It's insurance policy.
Oh, okay. We'll take it as Jared just being an insurance policy for Jack. I guess insurance to make sure that belt doesn't go anywhere,
It's like
right?
nationwide. Well, you got to make sure none of these, grubby fans that are in Dunn touch it. You don't want any of that.
Come on, like grubby fans, really?
I have to be politically correct, Trey. Okay.
Already.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great show with Dunn. We're excited. Looking back, last appearance with Next Level Professional Wrestling didn't exactly go Team Pitbull's way. Where are you at with that? It's been a few weeks removed now. How are you feeling?
Well, first of all, bootleggers, had a long feud with them.
Yes.
Very violent feud, and of course we did our normal tactics, and they, younger guys, but very talented guys, got a bright future. I'll say it. Baron's kind of taking a little bit rougher than I am, but it's what it is. You can't win them all, and it really matters who wins the war. It's really not about a battle, and right now it's just a battle lost. They took the belts from us in a cage, and but they're very talented guys, and we look forward to seeing them again. But the real question is not really how we're taking it, but it's kind of how we're going to retaliate against the whole company and Dunn. That's really the thing that should be concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously scorched earth is a great tactic, and Dunn would be a perfect place to employ such a tactic. So we look forward to seeing how you react to recent events, and I wish the best in that.
Yeah, but we're going to move on from back in November from the cage match, and last night we were in Laurinburg, North Carolina for Wrestling with Purpose, and you were involved in the main event there in an 8-man tag team match. You had yourself along with your partners in Team Pitbull went up against Carolina Dreamer Pony Johnson. We had the hometown guys in Game Time Zay and Big Vaughn in New Age Ballers, and their tag team partner, which was a huge name. It was supposed to be the Barbarian, but unfortunate circumstances happened. He wasn't able to make it, and so they called on somebody else. And former WWE superstar, the one-man band Heath Slater,
Oh wow,
was that 8th man in that match. And as we've seen it, Team Pitbull did not come out on top there, and looked like when you guys had your yellow and green Richmond County colors on, it looked like Baron Bullard had to wear the colors of Scotland County.
Well, I just want to clarify 3 things just to make sure that we cover this on the political correctness, because I'm all about that, obviously.
Sure.
First of all, one of the guys on another team threw up in the ring, that should have been an automatic disqualification.
Oh,
Okay, that should have been an automatic disqualification. He threw up in the ring. And I don't want to catch COVID, flu, whatever else that I probably can't say on here that could have possibly been in the ring. So that should have been a DQ. Second of all, I believe it's body shaming putting a man in a kilt. So I think there should be an investigation.
I didn't mention they did. They put Baron Bullard in a kilt last night.
Wow.
Along with the Scotland County blue T-shirt that he got on.
And most importantly, I know for a fact that Heath Slater does have kids, and he didn't pay his babysitter.
Whoa.
I mean, why
You heard it from here
That's
first.
a weighted accusation.
You heard it here first. But I didn't say it.
But it was a absolutely fantastic match there. The 8-man tag, having Heath Slater there, it was absolutely amazing.
Sounds like a blast, you know.
Yeah, it was.
He did a great job. No, in all honesty, he's a tremendous talent. So is Haley and Zay, and of course Pony at his age still going. I mean, and I don't mean that like old, because I'm obviously old, but I mean it was really good. And of course, teaming with guys I consider my family, and doing such a benefit there in Scotland. In all seriousness, it was a great night. And I'm just like you guys. I mean, I was excited to get back in the ring because obviously the fairy snow, that doesn't exist, canceled all these other events that
Right.
was having. That's when I hate snow. Just in advance, I hate snow.
So let's go back, Trey. You've been in the wrestling business for a long time, you've seen them all come up.
Yep.
Starting to train a long time ago, and some people may know, some people don't know. You've had a hand in training the Dawsons.
Yep.
You've had a hand in training Crazy Horse Brian Sanders. You've been there, got him in in his first part of his career there. And you've also got somebody that's on the main scene that you have trained in, Dax Harwood.
Dax is great. And first of all, let's clarify the whole Dax story because there's so many rumors.
Sure.
Dax trained with Stro,
Okay.
Maestro, Rob Kellum, who's doing great now, had a lot of health reasons. But, I kind of am all about the truth in indie wrestling, and that's hard to get. So you'll have, this guy did this guy. The truth is I didn't train Dax. What happened was Stro trained Dax along with a couple other guys. Well, Stro had a ring that was out in the weather, and he had PVC pipe. And it cracks, and when you hit it, it grabs your skin and rips your skin open.
Sure.
It's worse than being in a cage or a barbed wire thing. So I know how talented Rob is, Stro, and he's had a very instrumental thing in my career for years, and I've been great friends with him. I said, well, why don't you come to the building we have? You train with your guys at the building, help with my guys, I'll help with your guys. So that's kind of how I got to know Dax, and you knew from the get-go, student of the game, a lot of the guys be out drinking, partying. He was watching videos. He was watching things and educating himself and getting his body in shape. And, that Dax you see now wasn't the Dax we seen there, and he wouldn't cuss. He wouldn't say, he wasn't arrogant. He was very, very unconfident of himself, and we knew how good he was. But he's such a great talent, and I still think he's probably one of the top 10 guys in the world. And I'm very biased, but I think you can put him in with anybody. And he commands a room, just like a ring. And as a wrestler, you really got to be able to do that. And he's one of the guys that does that without even effort.
Right.
I was just gonna say, I didn't realize that he had a hand in training him because of the revival, right? Yeah, like Dax Harwood, right?
Yeah.
That is insane. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, let's clarify. I just worked with him some and did matches and stuff with him, and as he was growing, his main trainer was Stro, because there's so many guys out there. Something about wrestling, I'm just going to get in my tangent real quick.
Yeah.
Something about wrestling is nobody cares most of the time about you until you do something, or you can do something for them. And so now, and I can tell you as a first-hand thing, he's probably mad at me, for the longest time right before he signed with WWE NXT, everybody, he's got an attitude problem. He's this. I don't want him around. He signs a contract. I wish you the best, and you did so well, and now I knew you, and I had great matches with you. No, you didn't, jerk. And I've been one who calls that online all the time.
Yes.
Quit saying that you said it when I know specifically, because I'm always in the lingo of trash talking because I'm usually in it. And there's so many guys out there who wish the best on you, and they really don't. And a friend of mine said this a couple weeks ago. Those who you think in your corner are actually behind you stabbing your back. And that's the truth in indie wrestling. You can take 100% of your friends and take half of them, turn them into your business acquaintances, and then cut that in half, and that's your actual friends in the wrestling business. It's a cutthroat business. It's just what it is. And that's just how it is. And I mean, it's a reality. If you're anybody who's wanting to be in the indie wrestling, before you decide you want to train, can your body take it? Can you financially take it? You better take your mind can take it.
Right.
Because your friends are going to turn on you. Your girlfriends are going to leave you. Your wives are going to leave you. They're going to cheat on you. Your friends are going to steal from you. You're going to be in a locker room with scumbags who do God knows what, whether it's messing with underage people, whether it's drinking, whether it's stabbing their friends in the back, whether it's stealing money out of people's wallets. I mean, it's a very bad sport. And I'm not saying a lot of places I'm at now isn't like that because I don't surround myself with that. I'm 46 years old. I don't have time for childish stuff. I'm not in high school anymore.
Right. So let's talk about the locker room etiquette because you have a lot of people in the locker rooms that they don't clean after themselves. They just don't take care of themselves, and because they're a business. You're as a wrestler, you're your own business, so you're supposed to be taking care of yourself, make sure that you're clean, to make sure everybody else is clean in the locker rooms, and so let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, let's cut that down into 3 parts.
Yes.
Let's talk about locker room etiquette, about how you conduct yourself. We'll finish with that.
Sure.
Let's talk about your obligation as a professional wrestler to the promoter and to the fans. Let's talk about that first, and then we'll follow up with how you're supposed to conduct yourself in the locker room. First of all, when a company books you, we'll just use insider terms. When a company provides you to come to their event, they feel like someone wants to see you or they're trying to give you opportunity. So you have to treat this as a business. And a lot of guys don't. They treat, this is a hobby. And I'm telling everybody out there right now on the World Wide Web, if you want to treat this as a hobby, get out. Because people like me and other guys will beat you up. That's what we're going to do. Get out. This is not a hobby. This isn't video gaming. This isn't, collecting stamps. I don't want to take shots at, conventions because to me they're big business. So that's I'm not. But this is something you got to be 100% invested. Your body's got to be invested. And I know someone's going to say, well, you got to go to the gym. No, your body's invested because you are putting it on the line every night you get in the ring with someone. You've got to trust them and trust that the person that taught them has taught them to treat you. Now, the locker room etiquette with that, you come in, you put your bag down. You greet everybody. You don't have to like everybody. But I hear people, I don't like him, and I'm not going to talk to him. How many people get up to their 9-to-5 jobs every day and go to work with everybody they love? If you say you do, you're a liar.
Right.
You do not like everybody.
Correct.
They don't like you. You go there for the money. You are at a professional wrestling event to make money, sell tickets for a promoter. No one. I said this the other day in a post. No one in wrestling owes you anything.
Right.
No one owes you anything. The only person ever in this wrestling business that owes you anything, per se, is the guy who trained you, owes you the training that you paid for. If you completely pay for it, which a lot of guys, I was talking to another good friend of mine today who works at this company that said, guys go training and practice 3 weeks, 1,000 bumps, whatever, and they think they know everything. No, you finish up. When the promoter or the trainer says you are done, you're done. But you put your bag down in a location that's not already claimed. If you walk up on a chair and there's a bag there, you don't move the bag. You don't take the chair. That will get you beat up by people like Ricky Morton out of Cauliflower. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. I won't beat you up. I'll just pee on your bag. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pee on your bag. If you pick my bag up and move it, I'm going to pee on it. That's okay, right? I didn't cuss. Okay. Then you turn around, you go out, you find the promoter or booker. What do you need from me? And what I hate worse, call times at 5 o'clock. Let's just say call times at 5 o'clock, and there's not catering because a lot of companies don't.
Right.
There's a couple that do. Next Level's one of them, and a few others.
I love those companies. That's the ones that I work for.
Why did you not get something to eat on the way? You're already late.
Right.
And those guys are usually the biggest whiners. I didn't know what I was doing. Well, maybe if you didn't bring your 18 baby mamas and her 16 kids, you could have actually got to somewhere to eat. I mean, I know I'm already going to start problems, but that's the thing. And this is really important. If I'm wrestling you that night and you walk up and shake my hand and you smell like you've been in a slop shop baking crap all day, yes. I don't want to wrestle you. And what's even better, I've had guys I wrestle, they're great when they show up. They're perfumed up. They smell like they want to date me. And then we get changed and we get ready to get in the ring to wrestle, and their gear smells like they rolled it around in crotch rock. Yeah. That's what it smells like.
Yeah.
And I can't stand that. Wash your gear. Look, all you do is take a pair of trunks with some soap and scrub it together. And that makes me think you don't brush your teeth, or some people, tooth. And they don't do, and I mean, I'm being serious, but you do that, and then you go around, you greet everybody, you find out what's going on. And it's really something that's a lost art. Once you get your production meeting done, and I said production meeting because I'm a professional.
Sure.
Some people call it a locker room, and you do a production meeting, you know what's going on. and you're the first match, one thing you need to understand, you don't need to be outside the ring unless the promoter told you. Why are you doing it? And I had Ricky Morton tell me this one night. An opening, I was working the middle of the card. He was in the main. And I'm just name dropping because someone's going to care. Well, yeah, I don't care what Trey says. Well, good. I don't care what you say, but you care what Ricky said. And Ricky said, Trey, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to go get a car, get a rocket launcher, dress up like Rambo, and blow up my opponent because they just did everything in the first match. You got to know your place on the card. And if you ever want to be a main event guy, you got to know what opening is. You got to know what mid-card is. You got to know what it is. Opener, I love being opening because that means there's 3 spots on that card that are the most important. Your opener, right after intermission, and main. If you're in one of those spots, the main is the moneymaker. It's what people are paying to see. Right. The opener, I mean, think about it. If you go to a movie and you watch the first 20 minutes,
it's boring as hell.
You're not going to watch the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
you're not going to watch the rest of the movie. So it's the same thing. So a lot of promoters, idiots, I'm calling you if you do this, you're an idiot. They put the youngest and sorriest guys on the roster in first. The first thing they do, let me find the stupidest guy in the locker room who has no wrestling gear. That's another thing, guys. I'm going to be all over the place. That's another thing, guys.
Thank you.
You put your tennis shoes and your wrestling shoes on. What's your gimmick? Well, I'm a guy who work at a service station. I do. No. What's your gimmick? Why? If you're not a basketball player, why do you have basketball shorts on and basketball shoes? If you're doing a construction worker gimmick, you're going to be dressed like a construction worker. Right. That guy told me one time, he goes, well, my gimmick's from the streets. I said, you have on, hey, dudes, I don't think you get any street cred. I mean, I'm being serious. Yeah. I'm being serious. I mean, in all I'm just trying to get attention, but when you do your character set, I'll tell you a funny story from training, then we'll get back to it. Yeah. When I was training at the actual place I trained at, guy walks in, training place, everybody's working hard, he comes in. He says, everybody hop out. I'm going to do this with this guy real quick. We're like, oh, got a new guy. First thing the guy goes, yeah, guys, I know what my character is and my gimmick. I'm like, bro, you ain't even took a bump. You ain't locked up yet. We don't even know if you know how to spell your name. And you're telling us you're this character. And then his whole idea for a character was he was going to be a powerlifting guy who got hurt and he was going to come out. Brother had twig arms.
But you're a power lifter.
Yeah, and I guarantee he had an ex-wife tucked under his stomach somewhere. He had a big old gut. But back to the etiquette. Now, here's the thing. To you promoter, back to serious.
Sure.
If they do provide catering or anything else, clean up your trash.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. Either A, you don't care about the building and the promoter and your fellow people in the locker room, or you're just a nasty human being.
And that's going to make us think
and
that's
a promoter
how
don't
you
need
live.
you. Yeah. I mean, you look like you got a gang of cockroaches coming in with you if you don't clean up.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you take your plate, throw it away, pick up your trash. And trash is the tape you use in the ring, guys. You pick it up and you throw it away. And here's why. Wrestling ain't what it used to be, okay? Wrestling is an enemy of most buildings. They're going to come in here and tear it up. They're going to break tables. They're going to do this stupid mud show crap.
Right.
I'm talking to you, Rob Killjoy. I said it. So, yep, I said it. I'd make Jim Conrad as a wrestler, not as the guy who messed up. And by the way, you only got on there because of who you know. I said it. Yeah, there's my first shot fired.
We'll take it.
Now, having said it, now listen, I will say this. Rob's a great worker when he works. Okay? That make sense?
When he works.
When he works. And I'm not talking about politicking. But anyway, back to the thing at hand. Okay? I told you I wasn't going to pull no punches.
Yeah, no.
And I got a whole pistol full of them and a couple clips.
I believe
But in reality, you clean up that mess because here's what happens. Let's just say, am I allowed to say the promoter's name? Is the promoter out there for Next Level? Is he actually known?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tony, who I happen to have a lot of respect for, and his staff, they're getting buildings, right? He thought I was going to say something bad about it. I know he does. I probably am at some point, but I love him to death. I really do. You know, believe it or not, he's actually my oldest son. He's my oldest son's godfather. In all honesty. Yeah. And I've had some very great matches and some great times in the career, so I'm being straight up honest with you. But back to the thing. When they get a building, they pay for it. They pay us a deposit for time and things. So when you don't pick the trash up, wrestlers, why should they bring you back? Because you just cost them $200, or you cost them the building. Yep. Same thing as when it was said last night, and nobody disagreed, but I've had shows where a guy goes, guys, don't go outside the ring. First match, outside the ring, we never get the building again. So but not just you, everybody lost the booking. Everybody lost that intelligence. That town lost good wrestling. You know what I'm saying? You got to, and then, take up your space, do what you do. It's okay to have fun. I'm probably one of the most pranking, idiotic guys in the locker room. I will threaten to pee on you. I will threaten to grab your butt. I will tell you you're cute. You can imagine the stuff I say that I can't say during the podcast.
Right.
But I want everybody to have a good time because we're escaping our problems every day.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what wrestling's about to me. I've been through absolute hell in my life. I wouldn't have had such a strong relationship with my father if it wasn't for wrestling. That's how I bonded with him. And that's how I got interested in the sport. So to me, it's a dear and near thing. And I want to have fun. And I love having fun matches. And I love having real matches. But in reality, this is something we got to do for a community. And unfortunately for North Carolina, without a commission, which I'm glad we don't, because it would put a lot of companies out of business, but there's a lot of companies that don't belong. And I know this inclusion thing, inclusion's for everything but sports. And I mean that wholeheartedly. And I'm just going to say all kinds. I don't believe men and women should be beating each other in the ring. I don't believe men should be in women's sports. I don't believe women should be in men's sports. It's not a sexist thing. It's a protective thing. I have a daughter. I have 2 of them. I have a granddaughter. I don't want them to work their butts off to somebody come take that from them.
Right.
And in the same thing in the ring, how is a society, if we're right now about protecting our women, promoting violence towards women as an entertainment form? Okay? Now, that doesn't mean, because I'm a hypocrite. I've had great matches with Alexis LaRue before she was Mickey James. I've had matches with, a lot of Persephone, a lot of girls that are really talented, ODB and all that. But the older I've got, the more I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? What am I doing? I mean, I'm taking a reality. I'm trying to convince someone, because it's just like back to the locker room etiquette thing. I've always been an advocate of not having girlfriends and wives and kids in the locker room.
Right.
And the reason is I don't want my child walking in on something. So when you're at home, and this is what guys in the locker room and promoters, everybody needs to do. And Trey, I mean, I don't. You got kids, Jen?
No.
Okay. Just imagine your daughter's changing and your buddy's at your house. He walks and opens the door. She's in there in her bra.
Right.
Right.
That's an accident. So why do you put that position for someone? Your child's in a locker room. Nobody sees your child. You drop your pants. Now you're mad.
Because we're a bunch of dudes. And
You're mad.
We got to get dressed.
You're mad.
So,
You see what I'm saying? You're mad.
yeah.
And that's why you don't want to do it. And plus, one of the worst things, I've got a military mentality. I got a family-oriented mentality. And this is something that's probably going to come up later. You're the ultimate scum to me if you mess with someone's wife or girlfriend when they're still together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. And so you're but see, guys put themselves in that position. Well, I'm having my girlfriend back here. And the worst guys in the wrestling business, back to etiquette, man, it's my girlfriend. Just met her the other night at the bar.
Yeah.
I'm a great superstar. I'm make her my manager. Well, dude, you look like an idiot because your girl don't know how to work. You look like a punk because you're worried about what she's doing, and you put yourself in a position now where someone can hit on your girlfriend. Now, that shouldn't happen, but you put yourself in that position. It's kind of like drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know I was going to get a ticket. Really? Because last time I checked, it's against the law. You drank, and the other thing is you go back to gear and stuff. Don't touch people's bags. Don't pick up people's tape that's not yours. If you want to watch the shows, a lot of guys have it where you can watch it on the camera in the back. Next Level's really good about that. Or you can watch it at curtain. But you're standing there. I mean, I hate when guys are sitting at the gimmick tables when they know there's a hot finish. They're going, and then you're a huge baby face. You're a huge baby face. And the top baby face out there is getting beat up by 3 heels, and you're sitting at your gimmick table signing pictures. So either you're an idiot or you look like the biggest punk in the house.
Because you're not going out there to help your
I
buddy.
told somebody this a couple weeks ago at a show in Wilmington. He goes out to do something, and the guy's holding his arm like this. I said, hey, man, do you care about me? Oh, yeah, you're one of my best friends in the world. So if I'm getting beat down by 3 people who's in a gym, a parking lot, you're going to put your hand to hold. Then when they hold you back one arm, you're going to, oh, no, I'm going to beat their tail. But when we're in the ring, you won't do that.
Right.
Guys don't think. We don't think about etiquette. We don't think about washing our gear. We don't think how to treat things. We don't think about time. Some guys, they're the first guys that say, man, I ain't getting booked to the top of the card. Are the main ones that don't show up to help set up. They're the main ones that don't show up to tear down. They're the main ones that don't show up on time. And they're the main ones to cry about everything. We work together. The guys who always throw that brother crap around. Oh, brother, that's my brother. And my brother, I love you. Hey, man, I need you to put him over. Oh, man, I can't do that. My character. Can't do it. My character, he just wouldn't put over that guy. You got to hit me with a chair. Okay, well, I'll hit you with a chair, but we're going to carry you out. Oh, no, I'm walking off my own strength. I'm sorry, Ultimate Warrior, my bad. But, I mean, I'm being serious. You know, we got to think reality. I mean, Trey, I'll give you an example. You're married.
Yep.
We're in a club one night. We're just hanging out. You don't know me. I don't know you. Your wife walks by, bumps me. I turn around, open hand smack her. Are you going to go, excuse me, did you hit my wife?
No.
You're going to be ready to go, right?
Yeah.
So how come we're in the ring, somebody open hand smacks you, go.
Oh, my, did you just slap me?
Or guys, they'll have a hot few, like, for example, the bootleggers. Built that up for years. I mean, I'll tear down the little forbidden curtain, build it up for over a year.
Yes.
We get in the cage. Hey, guys, how you doing? They going to lock up? Yeah, and then we'll wrestle around for a minute. No, we're going to kill each other.
Right.
We're going to beat the crap out of each other. And what's so funny is I'm all about the business. I got in there with an injured shoulder. I was told not to even wrestle that night, but I got in there to do my job. I've wrestled with stitches in my foot. I've wrestled with shoulder injuries. I've wrestled with broken bones. And I'm not doing this, Trey's talking tough. No, I did it because I believe in my word. That's the problem with the wrestling business. The word don't mean nothing no more. Shouldn't have to have a written contract. Your word as a man or a woman should be your bond. Right. That's the biggest thing about wrestling etiquette. And I still hate you, Rob Killjoy. Not really, man. I'm going to give you a hard time because Jim Cornette told me to. He said you have truck stock condoms.
So you had mentioned the snow earlier, and so you said you hate the snow. I just wondered if that had any connection to like this thing that Team Pitbull has going on with Christmas, because it seems like you guys just aren't a fan of Christmas at all. Like, what's the beef there?
Barron doesn't like Christmas. I actually like Christmas this year. I don't like Santa.
Why Santa Claus always beating up Team Pitbull every year?
Every
year, y'all get beat up by Santa Claus.
Santa's not real, Trey.
Santa's real. There's video that proves that Santa's real. You can look on Wrestling Purpose YouTube page.
Well, let me ask you.
Show you that Santa Claus got in there and he gave all Team Pitbull stunners. He was feeding them left and right.
You want me to answer you that honestly?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to jail, Trey?
No.
Have you ever been to prison, Trey?
No.
Do you like peanut butter sandwiches? Do you like fried chicken?
Yeah.
That's what they have in jail. Now, let me ask you a question. If you're walking on the street and you beat up a 100-year-old man, are you going to jail?
I mean.
So that's why I don't beat Santa up. No other reason. Because I don't want to go to jail, Trey. I hate Santa, too.
Santa's still.
And I'm beginning not to like you, Trey, because you like Santa.
I do. I love Santa Claus. He brings me stuff every year.
Does he stuff your stocking?
Maybe.
Don't be a purr, bro. I was talking about something.
I'm talking about stockings.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're probably a Kansas City Chief fan.
I'm a Panther fan, unfortunately.
Don't tell anybody that.
So how'd you get your start in the business? Like, looking back, like, what made you go, I want to be an actual wrestler. I don't want to be a fan anymore. I want to, like, make this a thing.
So look, I'm probably going to be the oldest guy you've done this with so far. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
So I grew up with I got an eye shot towards me. I don't know who did it. So, okay, I'm old. I didn't do my research. All right. I grew up a Crockett fan. I can remember back to watching early 80s, Magnum TA, Dusty, Rock and Roll Midnights, Jimmy Valiant. I was a big Jimmy Valiant fan, the Koloffs, all those guys. And this is to you guys when you were going back to wrestling thing. Wrestling used to be such a big industry. The newspapers covered it, television covered it, everything covered it.
Right.
Because people acted like they had some sense. And they did it the right way. So we used to go to Dorton Arena every Thursday night with my dad. And I can remember Jim Cornette. I can remember Midnight Express. I can remember Rock and Roll losing the belts 2 out of 3 falls. I can remember Flair would come out and wrestle for an hour. And the funny thing is Flair and Dusty would always be advertised as the main event, but they were always a semi-main event when the Rock and Roll and Midnights were the main. Because there's lots of reasons. I've been told the reason, but I mean, it's not my place to tell. But it was a bonding thing. And I said, I want to do this. Well, lo and behold, while I was in high school and a few other things, I was the small guy. Okay, believe it or not, my fat self used to be the small guys. 6'1", about 160, 170 pounds soaking wet, with an attitude of a 300-pound monstrosity. Okay, didn't take no crap because I grew up in Durham, small young kid, and my brothers beat the crap out of me because the majority of my school was a different race, and that's when I grew to not have the racist bones that a lot of people have. I treat people the way they treat me. The only racism I have is if you're a butthole, I'm going to treat you like you're a butthole. You're a jerk, you're a snake, you're a crook, you're a criminal. That's what you get from me. I don't care about your skin color. I don't see that garbage. It's ridiculous to me. Now, will I make jokes about it? Yes, I will. I make jokes about, you've been about me enough.
Yeah.
Hey, white boy, I hate crackers, all that stuff. I say stuff like that.
Yeah.
But back to your question. So they used to do these big posters called Tribune Wrestling posters for indie shows. And it's a big company. They still do them. They're very expensive, so a lot of guys don't do it. They do the smaller, poster board stuff now. So I seen a show that was in a place called Oxford, North Carolina. And the only thing it's really known for is JF Webb being a top 10 high school, terrible high school. Just read this the other day. It's crazy. But there's nothing else there. It's a country town north of Durham, almost to the Virginia border, in between Henderson and Durham. And a guy named Ken Spence, who was one of the great guys in North Carolina, had schools and all, had a show. So I called him. I said, hey, I want to be a wrestler. I'm debating on whether I'm going to do military, I'm going to do this. He's like, okay. And I asked him the magic question everybody loves. Is wrestling real?
Yeah.
And he goes, what'd you just say to me? And I said, oh, no, nothing. So he tells me, yeah, come up here, do this. Well, statistically, things happen. I did different patterns. And then when I finally healed up from that, I said, you know what? I still want to do this. So I found a school, and I had to drive all the way to Virginia. It was just south of Jimmy Valiant School in Shawsville. There was a place right outside of Charlottesville. Started doing this thing. I drove up there every Sunday. 4-hour drive there, 4-hour drive back. Paying it off of being a kid working at Pizza Hut now, an adult, paying my own bills. And I drove up there, and I got my body beat. But I wasn't learning anything. I'm like, this guy's an idiot. I've watched wrestling my whole life. This guy's an idiot. I mean, just lockups look like this. He was teaching us like this. It was the stupidest thing in the world. So that's my first thing to you young wrestlers. Find a legitimate school. If the guy's an idiot, he's an idiot. Don't just because he has a wrestling school don't mean he knows. He just was able to buy a wrestling ring. Okay, and I can recommend you to some. Just if I like you, hit me up on my Facebook. If I don't, I'll still tell you you're a goof, and I'll still tell you. But I started when I realized I was wrong. So then I found another school that was in between there in Danville. Never got my money back. I learned, and they beat the crap out of me. I mean, they wanted me to quit because I was too small. And the guy liked me, so then I started doing shows, and I started working a lot of mud shows, crap shows, because I was small. And then, I guys like a really good guy named David Bullock, who used to wrestle as David Blanchard, told me, he said, could you referee some while you're getting some size up? So I started hitting the gym, and I did some refereeing stuff, and I was really good at it. And so I was like, oh, and I got a couple looks at some things, some bigger companies when NWA was restarting itself. And it failed, obviously. This isn't the last time, but this is back in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I did that, and then I put some weight on, and I started wrestling. And then so I got around Ivan, and I did all the seminars I could. Back then they were called camps. You pay $200-$300 back in that money. It's probably $500-$600, and when you rate it up now, depending on inflation. And I made all these events. I did what I had to. I took low pay. I slept in my car. I was determined I was going to make it, but I was good according to what everybody told me around me. But the problem was, I had a cocky attitude because I was mad because I was small, and people told me I was small, and I didn't want to hear what they had to say. So I intertwined myself with traveling, like some guys with bigger names, and I listened to them. See, what a lot of guys don't understand training, and I tell the guys I'm working with now, part of it's the road trip. Picking the brain of the person in that car that knows what's going on. Why do we do this? Why do we do that? It ain't all about in-ring. So, and guys are like, well, I'm going to do these 50 high spots. Why? When you're in a fight on the street, are you going to go in the car, do 6 flips, turn around, do a hurricanrana? No, you're going to punch somebody straight in the mouth. It's great to be able to do that stuff. I mean, the Hardys made it tremendous. They made North Carolina on the map, you know what I'm saying, for doing that stuff. So it's a place for it. But in reality, you watch some matches now, and I mean, I'm asking you guys, seriously, if you watch some matches, whether it's on the biggest company in the world or some indie guys, does it not look like a premeditated movie?
Yes.
No, yeah, definitely, like The Matrix or something at a certain point.
So what do you, honestly, and there's no wrong answer to me because I'll ask you a question. What's more entertaining to you as a wrestling fan, to see cold-hearted, raw wrestling where they're putting things together as they go, they're painting a picture, if you will, or seeing a put-together theatrical movie? Which one?
I'd rather see the one that they're calling it there in the ring where you're not knowing what's going on, because then it makes it more exciting. Because you can always, and I do now, being in the business for a while, I can watch wrestling. It's like you can predetermine and watch. It's like, okay, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. They're going to do this. And, oh, this is going to be the finish here. And it's like, Oh, I just called the whole thing. Like
You did?
like you can tell what's going on. So to me, as a wrestling fan, I'd rather see something that I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, what about you, man?
I mean, for me, I think there's a place for everything, but you kind of run into a problem with some of these matches now where it almost feels like a little overproduced, where it's like almost the entire thing is just kind of like there's a million miles an hour, but at the same time, like not really a point to it other than that it's happening. You know what I mean? Like, because
Correct.
some of those, like, it's like, and certain you'll see it on, even on like a weekly TV with certain companies. It's like you see like a match that seems like it should be like a feud ender for something 5 years in the making, and it's like
Correct.
it just kind of happens on like a Tuesday, and these guys aren't even going to really have any sort of follow up
So-
with each other after the fact.
Yeah.
So I see, like, I think wrestling's at its best when it is a mixed bag of a little bit of everything, but
I
at the
agree.
same time, I think like there's just merit to like just traditional stuff in wrestling that works. You know what I mean? Like the fundamentals always work. You know?
Yeah, and I pride myself. I was trained to call everything as it goes, but I can put together a match with someone. But here's the reason. Here's the problem with putting a match. And this is just my opinion on it, and it's just all it is. But I've seen it play out, and I've had the problem. And I'll give you an example in a minute. But if you go through and you put every single thing together, okay, and a lot of guys have gotten where they've gone crazy and they're putting stuff together in notebooks. I had that experience multiple times, and now it's getting worse.
This is them putting matches together
In a
the back
notebook.
before-
In a
Oh,
notebook.
in
a notebook.
writing
You know, I've
everything
seen guys
down.
show up. They've worked on it. Oh, me and him talked all week about brother, y'all have no life. Is it Matt? But here's the catch. Let's just say talented guys. I mean, too talented. You know, I'm trying to think of somebody. You know, I'll just say wrestler A and wrestler B. Both are talented guys,
Right.
okay? Can call in the ring and do it the way. They put together a whole match, okay? It's a big thing. It's a big thing that has to happen, okay? It's 5 matches in the make, okay? End of a program, end of a feud, blow off whatever term you want to use, okay? Wrestler A is all over the place. He's a flippity, he's a floppity, he's doing every high spot there is. He tweaks his ankle the first minute in.
Right.
He can't go to the top rope. What's he going to do now?
Then you got to change everything.
He's got to be able to call it on the fly, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, I've always been an advocate. If we're going to do 3 parts major, that you're going to get a beginning, a middle, and an end out of me. And I want to teach every single person how to do that. I've done it with the bootleggers and everybody else. I've done it with guys who hasn't ever done it. And the reason is you never know. I've had it happen before where I was the heel and I go to a town and it happened in Rocky Mount to me. And they love me. Well, I can't keep doing the crap we play in the back, so we got to flip it. And if you can't do that, you're not a worker. See, there's a difference between a wrestler and a worker. That's why it's 2 terms. A wrestler knows the moves, knows how to put them together. A worker knows how to enjoy your motion. My favorite thing is I'm notorious for being able to get the crowd to hate me,
Yes.
to forget all their problems. See, that's my thing about wrestling. My objective in wrestling now at 46-year-old is to get the new generation ready and for people who bought a ticket to forget about everything in their life that is bad and take it out on me. You want to see me get beat up. You want to see me get hurt. But you know I'm there for that purpose. That's what you want. But these guys don't understand that. And how many guys are getting hurt now doing these moves? So you just think about it. You're a big-time guy and a top indie guy. You do this flippity-flop thing. You break your leg. You got your shoot jobs gone, and you got no contract. So what do you have? Well, I did this cool move, but I broke my leg. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll go back to Tony James and me. He had 2 big high spots he did, and we did them everywhere. And they got over, and Tony never got hurt. Okay? Never got hurt. I did and this is a funny story. I used to get in this little stage of my career where I was just bleeding all over the place, beating the crap out of everywhere, doing hardcore, whatever you want to call it, to a point. Never got hurt. Never got hurt. I wound up doing a really good match. I wound up hurting my arm. Doing it the right way. No lie. No lie. I said, man, never again. I quit doing this way and started doing the right way, but I could do both. You got to be versatile in this business. You got to be versatile. And I say it's a business because it's about making money. But it's also about bringing people to one. I mean, I've had shows where people go, man, my wife just left me. And coming out here tonight and seeing you guys, maybe, or my kid's sick. Or, man, I just beat cancer. I just did this, and this was my thing. Yeah. That's what it's about to be a worker now. You're all trying to get to up top. But you know how many friends I've had that's gone up top and worked for Vince McMahon when he was still there? And they hated it. Yeah. They hated it. And they were on the top of the world. They come back down to the Indies. They're having a blast. Heath Slater's one of them. He loves the Indies. He gets to be himself. He loves it. He's happy. You saw him last night. He's so happy.
Cool, man. He just had a good time last
Rhino's
night.
another guy. He's just happy to be on the Indies. And you got guys who are miserable human beings. They just don't want to be anywhere. But I got in, but the thing is, the mistake I made was, one, I went to an illegitimate wrestling school I never should have went to. And so you brought up the Dawsons and Charlie Dreamer and Sean Cruz, Daniel Messina, and a bunch more. You know, those guys, you want me to tell you the story behind them real quick?
Yes.
Okay, so I was working for a guy who run Danger Zone Wrestling. Me and Tony were doing things, and I started working a program with Caprice Coleman, who is by far one of the most talented guys on the mic and just as talented in the ring.
Yes,
just as talented as the ring. Guy doesn't age. That's why he's the ageless one. He doesn't age. You would think he doesn't.
One, yeah.
And
that's his moniker now.
And his thing is, and it's the thing is, he'll do anything in a match because God's going to protect him. That's his moniker. I mean, that's serious. Yeah. So we'd done this program. Tony went and done a show somewhere without me, and he's running these kids, and they want to be a wrestler. He goes, well, I don't have a school yet, which now he does, but I don't have a school yet. And he said, I want you to meet this other guy. And I was doing this Slim Shady thing. I had blonde hair. It's hilarious. And, you know, it was getting over, so we're doing a thing. And the whole thing we were telling that night was I was wrestling Tony in Fayetteville at the Armory for Danger Zone. And the whole story was between me and Caprice. So Caprice is the referee, and everything he would do, he went to check my leg, pulled my leg out, and I couldn't touch him. If I touched him, I lost my title match.
Yeah.
So after the match, I'm standing there, and they go up to Tony, hey, where's this guy at? And they're like, what's the guy's been talking all that trash? Because I was trying to incite a riot. If I don't incite a riot, I haven't done my job. If I haven't made you mad enough to want to fight me, and I'm talking about kids, adults, old ladies, old men, I don't care. There is none of this. I don't care. Well, I don't care. I mean, you paid to do this. That'd be like going to a rock concert and be like, oh, my God, the music's too loud.
Right.
But so if they come up to me and they're like, hey, we're interested in being around, I'm like, shut up. Be quiet. You know what I'm saying? So they come and say, hey, this is a guy to talk to us. I'm like, here's the deal. Be here tomorrow at this time. And I said, well, I got to go find her. They said, oh, we got a ring in Garland. And it was a guy named J.B. Diamond's Ring, who run a very, very bad promotion in that area. Very bad. Nice guy, but everybody there looked like they belonged in a Hardee's commercial gone bad. I mean, it was bad. They were humongous guys. I mean, I shouldn't be talking because I'm a fatty. But anyway, I'm a fatty that can go. They couldn't go. And they were terrible in the ring, didn't understand the business, didn't understand how it worked. They were all marks for themselves. And they took advantage of these kids to begin with. So I found JB's ring. I got it. So I said, you guys are going to come every Sunday. You miss one Sunday, you're done. I'd run them to death for 3 weeks solid to see if I could make them quit. I wouldn't let them smoke. If they threw up, it all started over again. Then I seen they wanted it. I made a bunch quit because there was more than just them. Then I seen they had something, so I taught them. And I taught them locker room etiquette, and I taught them how to talk to people. And I taught them how to listen. And I taught them what the business was about. And I taught them where they were wrong because they were all talented guys. And Daniel Messina had a promotion going with these guys doing this stuff, and they were terrible. I mean, I went to the show, and I was like, this is terrible. But they had talent, and he was so savvy to the business. I mean, he was drawing people, and these people were paying to see this idiotic stuff. But I told them, they said, well, how much? And this is going to amaze you. I said, I don't want $1.
Free.
I don't want $1. All I want from you is two things. You guys, if you really have the heart to do it, you come every time, I'm going to teach you. You screw it one time, you embarrass me one time, you got to go. 2, you're going to help me set up, you're going to help me tear down, you're going to pay your dues, and you're going to be my guys. And now those guys are family to me. But the reason I did that was back to what I told you earlier. I got scammed. You understand what I'm saying? I got scammed in my first training. You understand what I'm saying? So in order for me to feel better about myself, yeah, I could have made a couple $1,000s off teaching them and said da-da-da.
Right.
But instead, I brought into the business, and I'm going to elaborate on this a lot more than a lot of trainers won't. I brought into the business one of the best tag teams that has ever existed in indie wrestling, in the Dawsons. And you wouldn't believe it because it's for your time. Charlie Dreamer and Daniel Messina were the guys that they built Sampson County, Duplin County, when I run ACP. They built it. Those guys, along with Sean and a few other guys, they built it. And I would use myself to get them over, and then they just had a program. And, of course, Charlie, here's the thing, and Dax Hart would tell you this. If Charlie Dreamer wouldn't have quit, he probably would have got signed with Dax, and he's probably a better worker. And I'm pretty sure Dax will laugh about that. But he always said Charlie was just as good. But Charlie said, look, I'm not getting anywhere. I've got a family. I quit. And I love him, and I hope he watches this. He's probably one of the most talented guys that never got an opportunity. And the Dawsons are another group of guys that are not going to get an opportunity for whatever reason it is, whether it's age or anything, or because there's other people there. But I wanted those guys to know, because they got scammed, that that this sport is about family, and this sport is about being brothers. It really is. This in the military, the real military, they intersign so much. If you've got a weak link as a platoon, you're done. If You don't have your brother's back, you're done. If your brother can't rely on you, you're done. And it's got to be organized. It's got to be structured. This is not a game. This is an organized thing for the success of everybody. And that's why Next Level is so good. And I'm not kissing their butt because I'm here. I'm telling you because I don't do that. But they got organization. And they got plans. And everybody works together. I've never seen a more group. And people are going to get so mad at me when it's tear down time that works so together. I stay and help. Okay?
Yeah.
And I don't have to. Tony tells me all the time, but I'm a leader by example. If I'll stay and help, then they'll have to stay and help. But they've got a good group of guys. But now those guys have become family. Those guys are at my house. I watched them grow into men. And I'm going to tell you right now, Sean Cruz, I watched him make mistakes, and I watched him turn into probably one of the best fathers I've seen. And he's finally found a woman that's going to push him to be good. The Dawsons are now fathers, and they're great human beings. Okay?
Yep.
And that's what this is about. And I don't know how many times Zane Dawson in podcasts and Dave and Sean have said, oh, Trey did this and Trey did this and Trey did. I didn't do nothing but give them a piece of canvas. I saw the talent there. I taught them what to do with it, and they did it. I didn't do nothing. I hate when people go, yep, I trained that guy there that's on top of the WWE. Okay, well, if you're so great and it's all you, how come your other 20 students ain't got a job?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, think about that. That'd be like a guy going, well, this guy's electrical license over there. I did all that. Well, what about the other 16 guys that didn't? You got to have an it factor. The Dawsons have that it factor, and Sean is getting there. And there's a lot of guys, and I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of guys that are at the next level that got that it factor. Jack,
Yes.
CJ.
Yeah,
And you know what the sad
definitely.
part about them, too? Is they may never get an opportunity because of height or body. You understand? That's sad. It's not as bad as it was when I come in, but it's still sad. Oh, you're only 5'9", you're only 5'10". What's that got to do with anything drawing money?
Right.
That's the reason AEW is so good, and a lot of people crap on AEW, but they will give younger guys with bodies that aren't what Vince thought was great. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know how many fights y'all seen, but I've seen some guys beat the crap out of some 300-pound guys. I was one of those guys. I'd fight you at 180 pounds in a minute. I'd poke you in the eye, bite you, I'd throw dirt in your eye. I ain't care. I mean, but being all serious, because I'm usually one of those a-hole guys, those guys are my family. And Tony's my family. It's crazy because at Comic-Con last year, I wound up wrestling Tony's son. I asked to do it.
And that was an amazing match.
And that's the first time I think he won. And I didn't know that was his first win ever. I didn't know that, but I asked to do it. And I didn't even tell him we were going to do it. I surprised him in the ring.
Yeah.
And I went out at Comic-Con and I did what I do. I got no problem with anybody who likes anime. I got no problem who likes comics. That's what you're into. That's great. I like some crazy stuff. Think about it. When people go, those stupid anime people. And you know who? People say to who wrestle. Brother, we're out here in a pair of tight underwear. Okay? Rubbing against each other, all sweaty and oily. Yeah, we got room to talk, guys. You know what I'm saying? But you got to get into what you want. But wrestling's a family. And, people ask me all the time, I've had tryouts when TNA was first starting out, and I got that because of my relationship with Larry Zbyszko. Okay? I got another tryout because of my relationship with Dennis Condrey. And you know what I got told? I hate when guys come back from tryouts. Yep, they didn't sign me because they had Kevin Owens. They didn't need me. Well, they didn't sign me because they had CM Punk. Well, they didn't sign me because they had Rey Mysterio. No, they didn't sign you because they didn't see what they had right in you. Because what I got told was, if we were looking for a 1980s jobber, we'd sign you right now, but that ain't what we're looking for. You bump too much. You don't do enough. Get your body in shape. Get a tan. You're a good worker, but you don't fit our profile. And I come back and told my students, you can ask the Dawsons, Charlie Dreamer, Dax Hart. They'll tell you, I didn't come back. Yep, boys. I got an opportunity to go to Puerto Rico and wrestle. Do you think I went because I was such a great wrestler? I was a good wrestler, but I didn't go because of that. I happened to be down in Florida doing some stuff in Florida. I was doing a character gimmick called the Brokeback Express, prancing around like a gay guy. I'm confident with my sexuality. I ain't got no problem with it. I don't care. Gay, white, straight, but I don't care. Once again, about the thing, what kind of man or person you are is how I treat you. But you know what? I was making money do it, and I was cool. I go home with a pretty woman that night. I didn't care who anybody in that crowd. They paid a ticket to see me. There was a wrestler that worked for WCW named Kiwi. I don't know if you remember him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was supposed to go, decided to bail. And this guy who was doing the show, he was took advantage of by some Puerto Rican promoters. I'm not going to say their name because they're liable to shoot me or kill me like they did Brody Brody. And I'm not important as he is, so they obviously killed me. And he said, I need a guy to do this character. Will you do it? I said, yep. He said, give me a price. I said, well, let me think about it. And I was going to do it for $250 on a plane ticket. He offered me $550 on a plane ticket. I said, well, I think I can do it this time for you. because I kept my mouth shut.
Right.
I kept my mouth shut, but that's how I got to go down there. See, and I've wrestled in every state in the United States of America, but Hawaii, Alaska, North Dakota, at least twice.
Wow.
And I went there and actually broke even, lost a little bit of money, because there's a lot of guys that come around indie wrestling, and I ain't going to name names right now, and they go, yep, booked in Michigan, booked in Florida this weekend, yep, I'm out in Tennessee, oh, yep, going to California. Yeah, you are. How much money did you make? Aren't you the same guy who lost your apartment, your girlfriend, and your car?
Yeah.
Isn't that you? You're a talented guy, but isn't that you? And this isn't nobody I'm really friends with. I'm just saying. So if you're making $50 to go to Kansas City, yeah, you're smarter than me, buddy. I'm going to go to – I like wrestling local. I've traveled all my life. I don't want to do it anymore. But you know the opportunity is there, but you're going to pay me. I had a guy that I've been friends with years when we come to Florida, and I gave him a price. And then guess what? He's going to pay me to go down there. I don't want to go to Florida. I didn't leave nothing there. I don't like hurricanes. I don't like gators, and I don't like fat women named Sue. But that's the thing I'm trying to tell you. You know, guys take all this credit, but the Dawsons, I love you guys. If you see this, Sean, Charlie Dreamer, all you guys. And another thing I'll tell you is there, and I'm not going to get into details. There was a fall now a while where Tony kind of had to take a step back. Tony James, Hang Time, had just as much involved with them as everybody else, and I hate when people take that from him. I don't like that. Yes, I was with him more, and I took him on the road with me, and I protected him, and other things like that. But give people credit. That's when I told you what I told you about the stroke thing. I can't stand. And you didn't know that. But people that go, oh yeah, you had no, he's my friend, and I helped in matches with him, and had 45-minute matches with him, 30-minute matches with him, and you know, had a lot of moments with him. I missed some because of people I was dating. I didn't get to go to his wedding because it was a big. I mean, I'm just going to stop on that point, but. You know, I don't like when people do that. You didn't do it. You can give someone a canvas to paint on. It's just like teaching someone, you know, when you go in the military, you have a drill, you know, you have a drill instructor, okay? And everybody goes through the same type of marksman training unless you start going to ranger school and all that stuff, right? Yeah. Not everybody is as talented as the guy before, okay? But you get the same training. So you got to have that it factor. It's the same thing in wrestling. So back to the friend who happens to be in here, and I'm not trying to put him over because he's in here, but if you take 1,000 bumps, and 999 of them are bad, but I only had to take 1,000. But the guy beside you who had 999 bad bumps and one good one does another 1,000 to get better. It's like being an electrician. I'm an electrician. If I didn't do the work all the time, I wouldn't know how to do it. A plumber, what you do, Trey. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what, you know.
Yeah, I'm just all over the place right now.
Well, you know what? Then you're a free thinker, right? But if you don't do same thing, you know. I've got friends that are law enforcement. If they don't go and get the proper training and don't repetitiously do what they're doing, they could get killed.
Right.
So wrestling's the same way. That's why I have a big issue. This is not for everybody. This isn't, and nobody owes you nothing. Well, you know, I'm 3'5". My mom killed herself when she, 6 years old and all this. And, bro, everybody's got problems. That doesn't mean you get a spot over somebody who worked harder than you. And know your spot. Just because you're the opener and just because you're putting a guy up, you know, I've done it numerous times, putting guys over, and then later on they do the favor back for me. But these guys now, what's it do for me?
Right.
You're booked for the company. It's all about putting butts in the seats, guys. And everybody who listens, I'm being serious. I mean, I know I'm a jerk and people watch this stuff, you hear me cuss and do that stuff. But I mean, in reality, I do know what I'm talking about because I can prove it on paper. I've been on shows that drew money. I can go out there anytime. I've had guys tell me right before I walk out the curtain, oh, never mind, I don't want you to work that guy, work this guy. And we go right to the ring. And veterans, this is the other thing that eats me up about wrestlers. Veterans like, I'm a vet. You got to listen to me. Okay, great. I'm about to make half of North Carolina indie wrestlers mad. You're not a veteran if you wrestle once a month for 20 years. Okay?
That's right.
Once a month for 20 years, you can be a veteran, but you can't say, I'll win 20 years of matches. I'm a 20-year veteran, but you're not 20. Because I've had guys go, I've been in the business for 27 and a half years. Okay, great. Well, man, I want to do this, and we're going to do a waterfall. Well, what's that? Okay, well, that's fine. But I'm not making fun. What I'm saying is, just because someone's older than you in this business doesn't mean they know everything. Okay? It doesn't mean they know everything. But if they do know more than you, listen to them. You don't have to, vets don't go, there's 20 minutes in this, and 18 minutes and 37 seconds, you're going to listen to me. It's not how it works. When I wrestle younger guys, hey, man, what stuff you like to do? What stuff that gets over for you? What can you do? And as long as you're not asking me to do some crazy stuff that I don't know what it is, like a corkscrew plunger, hurricanrana, moonsault, moon pie, power bomb, then I don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. We got to teach these guys. And vets take advantage of that sometimes. But young guys on the same token, if you got a locker room full of guys that have made it, okay? Guys that have made it, the Ricky Mortons, the Heath Slaters, the Rhinos, the Hardys, whoever, why not say, hey, man, you mind watching my match? Now, when you do that, there's a two parts to that. When they start talking, you shut your mouth. Listen to what they got to say. If they're right, they're right. If they're wrong, they're wrong. But you ask them, right? That's kind of like asking your wife, where do you want to go to eat? Well, I want steak. Well, I ain't going to get steak. Oh, steak's stupid. Well, I want to go get tacos. Well, tacos are stupid. Well, about 5 minutes into that, you're probably going to be sleeping on the couch. You know, that's how it works. I mean, seriously, we have to teach. Veterans and all that, we have to teach these guys. And guys, you got to be willing to be taught. We guys be willing to talk. Are you texting that midget?
I might be.
You were texting the midget.
Yeah.
I saw you.
Don't
Are you talking bad about me?
No, not this time.
Okay, well, that's fine. But yeah, that's the point. You know, back to that whole thing is this school at Next Level is producing some very talented guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm not trying to make enemies in the locker room, it's going to be the 33 rule. 33% of the guys are going to be great without hard work. 30% of the guys are going to take extra work. 30% of the guys are going to be cocky, arrogant, and ain't going to want to learn. And they're going to learn the hard way that you're going to have to learn. And that's sad because this company has so much potential. It has production values that North Carolina don't have anywhere but one other company at AML. That's the truth. And I'm going to make my friends mad when I say that. But the talent potential is there. And they got a good group of lockers. I'm not here because Tony's my friend. I'm not here because it's local. There are reasons why. But I really want to be here, and I asked Tony to be here because I want these guys to learn from me, and then I can move forward. But I want them to learn from Barron. I want them to learn from other guys in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys in the locker room can teach them. You know, yeah, hang time and Tony makes jokes about it. Yeah, I'm 50. I don't want to do it. I guarantee you if I get in the ring with Tony and we're serious, we can go 30 minutes and have that crowd in the palm of our hand.
Oh, absolutely.
I really believe that. And I'm not just because of me, because we've done it. And, I mean, I'll just tell you how good me and Tony were. And I love being cocky. I don't get to do it a lot. Me and Tony wrestled at a biker bar that had more Confederate flags in it than probably the Civil War. Okay? I mean, there were tattoos everywhere. I mean, it was bad. And I'm trying to remember the name of the town. It's near the beach. I'm probably good I can't remember the name of the town. And we get there, and they look at me, and we and Tony are looking around, and we get out of the car, and it's like delivered. It's like, and they look at Tony and look at me, and we're kind of separated. And the promoter goes, all right, Trey, you're my heel. Tony, you're my babyface. We're like, what? I don't think so. So we wind up going out there, and I work my butt off to get this crowd mad. And literally, they're cheering for Tony with Confederate flags tattooed all over their body. And I'm serious. And Tony's looking at me, and I literally looked at a lady, and I don't know if I'll say boobs. And I looked at the lady. I said, shut your mouth before I smack those pillows on your chest that you call boobs off. She literally climbed her 800-pound tail in the ring and went to swing on me. Tony had to grab her and get her out of the way and say, I'll take care of her. She goes, you better beat that white boy. And that just shows if you work together what you can do. That's just how talented things can be. You imagine that. You got Tony and me in a biker bar that's full of Confederate rednecks that probably were married to their sisters or their cousins. and they're really, I don't know if he remembers that show. I know he's out there. You remember that, don't you? You ain't like you ain't on camera, but you're standing right there. You remember that show where we went to the bar down there and it was all the Confederate flags for and then the lady tried to fight me and they were cheering you and we were like, what happened? But
it was ACCW. Yeah. It was in Castle Hayne.
Castle Hayne, that's the name of the place. You ever go to Castle Hayne?
I don't know where that's at.
Remember Castle Hayne, protect your sister, especially if you're married to her. But anyway, I'm talking myself away and I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're all right. So what we're going to do real quick here is we're going to end the show here because we're going on long. We're going to make a part 2. So don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. Right here at the Carolina Wrestling Podcast. We're here with the Indy icon, Trey G. We'll be back with you for part 2.
Tune in when they lock up. Turn the lights on. Time to watch us. With these topics, gonna be hard to top us. Headed to the top, can't stop us. It's the Carolina Wrestling Podcast. Carolina Wrestling Podcast. Carolina Wrestling Podcast. Carolina Wrestling Podcast. It's that guy, Trey Morgan and Freddie Attack. You can't ignore them. And Chance Jenkins, no chance for boredom. Get the table, the mics, now bring the boards in. We